Post Office Rugby wireless station has made Great Britain supreme in the realm of radio telephony and the key to international communication.
I work for Urban and Civic doing communications, communities and partnerships. We're the master developer on the site, which we jointly own with Aviva Investors. Well, the heritage of the site has definitely got to be one of its USPs. We knew it was an interesting history when we took over, but uncovering it has just been fascinating and really interesting. Rugby as a town is really proud of its heritage. There's definitely an opportunity here for us to let local people learn things about the site that they didn't know, but also people that will live here get not only a new house, but actually a really nice, interesting, rich story. A big part of what we're keen to do with our work to promote the heritage is really tell the story of the site in its earliest years, and that really was cutting edge pioneering and led the way for the way that we communicate now, and it really all started from here in Rugby.
Some people will be interested in the difference between shortwave and longwave because the radio station transmitted both. It started on longwave with the big 820-foot masts. The big transmitter can wrap right around the world. Shortwaves were developed around about the time the station opened, and these used the short masts. So those people who remember in Rugby remember that there were two sizes of masts, tall ones and little ones. The signal didn't wrap around the world. It sent a beam up to the ionosphere, which bounced off and came back down. But the other thing about long waves is it not only goes right around the world, it penetrates seawater. The obvious use is for submarines, and following the Second World War, that became its main use. It wasn't until 1927 that time signals were also transmitted from the big GBR transmitter.
The most fascinating story I think I've uncovered was at the BT Archives in London when there was a folder named Messages to Mars, and in there was a whole raft of information about Dr. Hugh Mansfield Robinson. Just after the station opened, he approached the post office because he wanted to send a message to Mars because he'd been having telepathic relations with Mars and a particular woman named Uma Ruru.
The first telephone call from here, of course, went out in 7th of January 1927. It was transmitted from here, from Rugby, across the Atlantic to Halton in Maine, in America. That's where the receiving station was. And of course, that's going to be the name of the new housing site. Fast
forward 20 years and people will live in Halton. If you research the history of your place name, which many people do, and indeed your road name, we would really like that people understand why the name Halton, what the site was built for in the early 20s, as well as the fact that we really hope local people will understand the important work it did pioneering communications in the 20s, as well as its role in the war and protecting the country and the time signal and all the things that people do know and love about Rugby radio station.